You're probably wondering like how I did it. This video is gonna show you how. Let's get it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Flow Mashkaram and Flow Stay. My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today we're talking about how in one day I reduced my emotional charge for the craving of Nutella. Okay? Now, let's just say this, okay? 6 or 5 months ago, I was very, very obsessed with Nutella, okay? Many of you don't know what Nutella is. If you don't know what it is, you've been living under a rock, okay? Or you're in some country that doesn't probably have it or has something different. But it's basically a chocolate hazelnut spread, right? And it's delicious, man. You can have it with bread. You can just have it by itself. I would just have it by itself and maybe some crackers or something like this. And it would just become an obsession, bro. I would just eat more of it and more of it. And yesterday in my NLP class, I finally got the emotional charge for that craving of Nutella to go down in my mind. I'm gonna share how I did that in this video as well, okay? So the first thing to understand about this is that NLP uses your 5 senses, okay? Your sight, your hearing, your sense of touch, kinesthetic, okay? Your olfactory, and your gustatory, okay? You've got to understand that first and foremost, okay? You need, first of all, to focus on one thing that you want to get rid of, one habit, okay? That one thing could be like, I don't know, for you it might be chocolate, right? Donuts, something you want to give up, some food that you're absolutely just obsessed with. I know in college it used to be ramen. That's all I would eat, is just ramen at times, right? I became the ramen prince at a certain point. No, I'm no cap, okay? I actually, for one of my projects in school, right? I actually became like a dude with what is it called? Like one of those hats, right? With a little thingy on the top. I wore that, and it was for my poetry class. Like I had to act, that was the project that I chose. I had to act an entire day as the Prince of Ramen. I had to play a different royal character. I had to sit differently in the cafeteria. And the entire day was a performance art piece for me. Some people questioned me on it, some people didn't. But I went about my day as if I was the ramen prince. Now this is off topic, but I think this is kind of interesting. Like if you think about this. We never really challenge ourselves like that, but in my poetry class, we had to do some kind of a senior project. And that's what I chose, man. I don't know why I chose that, but I wrote poems based on ramen, and it was like I think it was like a animated, edited, like PowerPoint with all my poems and just me, like it was kind of like a video format. I would go around as the Prince of Ramen, like interacting with people, and it was just like a mashup, I guess you could say, a montage of all those moments of me interacting with the outside world with that character. It was kind of difficult because I had a girlfriend at the time, and she had to interact with me like I was the Prince of Ramen, you know? It kind of sucks for her because she has to now play into that role and kind of like, you know, adjust herself or whatever. But in any case, man, let's get back to the topic at hand. So you want to imagine something that you're really obsessed with, right? Like you're craving that thing, okay? For me, it was Nutella. So whatever it is for you, let's say it's a donut for you, okay? I want you to imagine that donut in your mind. Are you associated with it? Meaning, are you in the picture with the donut when you imagine it? Or is the donut kind of just there? Is it floating in the air, or is it on a table? Where is that donut? Is it a few inches in front of you? Is it, 4 feet away from you? Is it bright? Is it dim? How big is the donut? You could describe it, right? Does it have sprinkles? Does it have chocolate? Right, just get really specific about that. When you imagine a donut in your mind, what voice do you hear? Is it your own voice? Is it the voice of your neighbors? The voice of your grandma who made the most amazing donuts? Whatever it is, right? You're hearing some voice. Maybe it's an internal voice or an external voice, okay? Imagine that too. Now we're going into the feeling. how does that donut make you feel? Do you feel your stomach grumbling? Do you feel a sense of impulse, like an energy rising, inside of you? What are the feelings associated with that donut? Okay. Now, you're probably describing it, you're in it, right? You're really describing it. I want you to associate it with your left hand, or this is A, okay? So this is the donut. This is the thing you want to get rid of. The food that you want to quit or give up, okay? On the other hand, I want you to imagine a food that you're completely indifferent about. Like you don't care about it. It's almost like you don't really like it that much, right? But you're just not attached to it. You just don't have that same reaction as you do with the donut. So I chose like cereal, for instance, right? So you can choose something like that, like bread, cereal, something just indifferent about, right? Imagine that now in your mind, okay? Imagine how light or dim it is, how close it is to you. Are you associated or disassociated? Okay, these are called submodalities in NLP, okay? B, okay? Now what I want you to do, once you're ready, I want you to take picture A, which is the donut, or whatever you chose, the thing you want to get rid of, the craving you want to remove. And then on the other hand, you have something you're indifferent to, which is, in my case, I chose cereal. So I'm going to now get you to merge picture A with picture B, superimpose them on top of each other, and imagine them merging into one picture, okay? It's very, very important. They're both merging into one picture. Now I want you to imagine that picture A has all the submodalities of picture B. So maybe for my cereal one, I said, yeah, it's kind of more dim. The other one was brighter. So you imagine now the Nutella is getting more dim. Or the thing you want to get rid of, right? The donut. It's getting more dim. It's copying or replicating all of the submodalities that picture B had. So if it was really far away from you, right? You imagine the food that you had really far away from you. If it was floating around in the air, it also starts floating around in the air. Now, what's happening here? Now, of course, we have to end with a break state and just say, count 10 things in the room. We don't want you to just stay in that trance, obviously. As an NLP practitioner, you got to know that. At the same time, this process helped me so much because after that process was done, I was asked the question, what do you feel about Nutella? And it was so interesting what came up for me, which was, I used to think of it as a snack when I thought of Nutella. Now I think about it more like a dessert item. And a dessert item is limited, it's at the end of the meal, right? Something very controlled. Whereas a snack you can have at any time, at any frequency, which is how I was treating it in the past. You see, so my emotional charge went down based on Nutella. You can do this technique, and you can use this technique to change your life today, right? You can reduce the emotional charge of something. This is the power of NLP, okay? And also, there's this process called the bulletproof mind. I don't remember the guy who made this program, but very, very powerful, okay, the bulletproof mind. He has a line of reasoning and questioning where he also reduces the emotional charge of a negative emotion. Like, let's say, frustration. You think back to a particular memory that you had in your life. What was the emotional charge associated with that memory? Was it a 7 out of 10? Was it an 8 out of 10? Now you want to make sure that after you go through this line of questioning, you measure yourself again. What is my emotional charge associated with this memory? Maybe it's gone down from a 7 out of 10 to a 5. That's good enough. Keep going, right? The more you do this, the better it will feel because you're actually processing your emotions. You're not running away from them. You're not hiding. You are getting to a neutrality with your emotions where you see the good, you see the bad. You weigh the pros and cons in a sense, right? That's the process of the bulletproof mind. Really, it's a line of questioning. That's what shadow work or inner work is. It's like a line of questioning. That's what a good coach does. They ask you really good questions. And at the end of it, you reach some conclusion or you reach a closure or you get more clarity. And that's the true gift, is that clarity. Because now you can move forward with less hesitation, with less confusion, less uncertainty. You see, I see a lot of people, they're just undecisive, right? But you gotta make those bold decisions in life. That's what your life consists of. It comprises of 10 really big decisions that you made that changed the entire trajectory and course of your life, right? So you gotta start thinking in terms of decision making again. This was something that I was reawakened to yesterday. Start to understand this, man. This process is going to change your life, man. If you want to coach with me one-on-one, you know where to find me. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. We're all going to win. Let's go.